Hey, we are recording. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Bob Foster here again with the 10-minute Tech Talk with Global Now. And for you that may not know this, we roam around some of my favorite places in Dallas and really across the country and have interviews with people that I respect and like and that really are experts in their particular field and normally around tech. So today we have Paul, and Paul's going to introduce himself here in a minute, but I can tell you he's one of the foremost experts when it comes to QA and automation and now AI. So, Paul, why don't you introduce yourself a bit and let's recognize where we are. We're actually at the Glorias here in Las Colinas, Texas, also part of the Dallas region. And we enjoyed this place. This is our, I think, fifth attempt to be able to do this correctly at Glorias, but we get distracted. And one of the reasons we like it is the service is great. We're here in Las Colinas. It's convenient between our two places, but also the food is good, and the occasionally we have a margarita to enjoy. So it's a good location. So with that, Paul, please introduce yourself.
All right, thanks, Bob. I'm Paul Grizzaffi. Some of you have probably seen or read some of my stuff, but those of you who are new to us, I've been in testing and software development and QA and test automation and all those things for a little over 30 years. I've been everything, a butcher, a baker, a candlestick maker for fintech, medtech, e-tail, retail, manufacturing, and telecom. So I've seen a lot of things. I've been burned by a lot of things. Some of them my fault, some of them situational. Bob has asked me to come on and we'll talk about some QA, QE, and testing type stuff, especially as it applies to test automation.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. So, and Paul, as you mentioned, you have vast experience, and all that experience has been phenomenal, especially of automation and QA. So, but today I'd like to talk a little bit about AI. Of course, that's the topic.
Everybody wants to talk about AI.
Yeah, right. They want to talk about it. I wish I understood it better. But you can help me probably understand it better when it's related to QA. And I first kind of want to get an impression from you. I know there's a lot of QA tools out there that are already claiming AI, and some of them I think are actually working. But I'd like to get just an overall perspective from you on what does AI mean to QA, and not only on the performance of QA, but also just on the team members that are, or the employees with a company that are trying to understand where their QA career may go, right? Because I know that's a question we all have regarding AI. How impactful will that be? And so just give me your general thoughts about that, and we can dig into some of the specifics.
Sure. So as you know, I'm a bad news first kind of guy. And
one thing I like about you, Paul.
The bad news here is that people are going to be disproportionately affected when they really shouldn't be. Some people are going to be laid off or fired or moved to other positions because not everybody understands the risk profile of AI. I don't even understand all of it, right?
Right.
So there are going to be places that it might work out for you and places it might not. It's going to be a lot like when record and playback for automation was really big. Some people were disproportionately affected because now we don't need engineers to do our testing. We can get anybody to just drag and drop record and playback.
Right.
And we see how that worked out.
Right.
So that's sort of the bad side.
Okay.
The good side is there's some real opportunities here for force multiplication. And that's how I look at automation in general.
Okay.
And possibly incorrectly, I really look at automation as a supplement to automation. To AI as a supplement to traditional automation.
You mean like just continuation of automation?
And evolution.
Okay.
Or it could be an evolution, or it could be a force multiplier on the automation, right? So the automation is a force multiplier for the delivery team.
Right.
Testing more specifically, right?
Right.
But the the AI could be a force multiplication for automation, or it could be a force multiplier on its own. So you sent me this blog post, LinkedIn post by Ben Fellows.
Ben, great guy.
Brilliant.
Very knowledgeable.
Yeah, we're connected, but I don't think we've ever spoken.
That. Yes.
No, but this LinkedIn post is phenomenal, and the follow-up is phenomenal as well. And I'm going to
comments.
I'm sorry. Yes, the comments and then his responses to the comments really, I think they really are endemic and show a really good knowledge of what's going on and helping other people understand.
Okay.
Because and again, I'll probably get some of this wrong, but he used some AI to generate 400 unit tests for an existing code base.
These were unit test only?
Based on what I understand from his
Okay,
post, it's
right.
unit test only.
Okay.
400 in minutes-ish.
Yeah.
He did, however,
Uh-huh.
as a good skeptic would do,
Yeah.
he went through all of those unit tests, each
Right.
one of them,
Right.
to make sure it was working, to make sure it was covering what he expected it to cover. And he did
That's
have to modify some of them. So it
Okay.
saved a crap load of typing.
Well, I have a question right away on that, and I'm going to jump ahead.
Oh,
So-
please, yeah.
So in that case, the fundamental script writing was performed by AI, but the knowledge around the requirements, the functionality within an application in this particular case, I guess, that knowledge was still very important. And without that knowledge, the scrutiny that he was able to apply and the almost validation would be damaging. You still need that knowledge. You still need that kind of compliance and review. The leap here is that this is where QA engineers may now come into play. Not only they need to know how to organize the scripts and automation around that, but also they still need to understand the functionality and maybe know the best way to ensure quality. So anyway, I interrupted you, but
no, that actually turns to some of the later comments in the script. There is that, and it was only like one sentence in one of his follow-up comments that it really hung me on to, which I assumed incorrectly, that he was going through each one and then modifying it to make it as appropriate. But I believe what he did was he modified his prompt to have it generated correctly.
Interesting.
I would need to go back and reread a little closer. Or hey, Ben, feel free to write a follow-up post, and please at me. This is wonderful. This is exactly not the only use case I see, but this is a great use case for letting the machines do what the machines do well with human oversight, and then leaving the humans to do the things that machines don't do well.
So just it's gaining those efficiencies, but the human oversight, I'm gonna loop back what you said before, and I think this is a really important point. You said there's an opportunity here. Is that opportunity being the humans that provide the oversight? What kind of skills are needed in the future for QA automation engineers, say, or QA experts that take into account AI? I mean, share a little bit more on that. What do you think is the skill requirement so people that want to pursue QA can kind of better understand that and know what they really need to do?
That's a good question. So a lot of us are going to have to become at least amateur prompt engineers, right? So we understand how to provide things to these engines so that it can give us something that is more helpful or more valuable than less valuable.
Okay.
And hopefully less risky than more risky.
Well, what do you mean by less risky?
Things that we can trust a little more, things that we will have to go back and revisit fewer times.
I see.
Because if we look at what
risky from the performance,
risky from we're going to have a problem when we release or not.
Oh, okay.
Whatever that problem might be.
Performance.
Performance. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
True risk.
Okay.
Performance related.
Yeah.
Accuracy related. Any of those types of things.
Right.
If we're going to use a tool, we want it to do as much work for us as we can responsibly and risk tolerantly let it do.
So
the rest the humans should do.
Okay, so let me ask a question, and believe it or not, this is a 10-minute tech talk, so we try to get this short and sweet.
TikTok, Mr. Bond.
I would ramble forever, as you know.
Same.
So tell me a little bit, though, about, actually, I lost my train of thought, but I'm going to shift to something that may be meaningful, is what should a QA engineer do at this stage to become positioned to do the things that you just described? How should they prepare? Just what you've seen so far.
And a lot of this is observation and gut based on what I've seen over my career. I will disclaimer, I am not an AI test expert. I'm not an AI and testing expert. I've dabbled, I've read a lot, and I've talked to a lot of people that are becoming experts in that field. So just disclaimer there. This is not the gospel.
Right.
So what I would say is you're in one of two positions in general, if we're talking specifically about automation engineers, automation creators, is your company's already decided, and they probably already picked a package that they're going to use for AI. Get in and learn it as best you can. You're going to be
So go that direction versus maybe chasing the premium QA AI tools. Okay.
They have decided something, and so you are going to live under that template, or you're not. And if you don't, you can self-select and go find another place where you like the template.
Right.
If you're there, do everything you can to embrace it responsibly. That does not mean adopt and stop doing all the other things you did and let it be the boss. And you wrote some prompts and wrote you some tests, and now you can sit back, put your feet up and smoke a cigar or whatever. It doesn't work that way.
Right.
Become that person that can view with a critical eye what has been generated for correctness, appropriateness, responding.
Right.
So you become, on some ways, a very, very broad code reviewer.
Right.
So if you're good at reviewing code,
you're
going to probably do well in that particular environment.
Right.
Now, if your management says, no, we're going away from that, and we're going to let it just automation do the AI do its thing, well, that's a different situation. We have to talk about that on more one by one.
We'll do that on the next one.
The other is, your company is navel gazing and beard stroking. You should go out and see what the higher end of the higher popularity tools are out there, and do your best to familiarize yourself with them. A lot of companies offer free trials. A lot of stuff is there's a free version, but you're limited to the number of queries you can make it. There's a way that you can spend some time either during your job or unfortunately on your free, investigate some of these things and be ready to build prompts that are going to give you something reasonable back, where you can trust some of it. You can trust it to do the typing for you. You can't trust it to have the context. And back to context, what I've seen so far and what I've dabbled in and what I've read, context is something that AI is not good at.
Not yet.
However,
I'm wondering,
going back to Ben's article where he said he had revised his prompt so that it would generate right code, he added some additional context in there. That is a gap I have. I don't know how to provide that. So Ben, do a talk somewhere, man.
But that's probably just a fairly simple thing to learn. What is complicated to learn or difficult is it's kind of a throwback to old QA. And I think there's people that really understand risk in an organization, how to mitigate the risk, and then understand whatever it is they're testing, the depth of that understanding, so they can merge all that together and have that expertise to question, have that curiosity. I think you did a phenomenal job, Paul, of explaining all that, and also asking or providing some great advice for people that want to continue in the QA automation / AI world. So that was fantastic. So I think we've reached the max here. We're actually at 14 minutes. So this is where we're going to probably cut it off so we can get back to some good lunch here at Gloria's. Appreciate it, Paul.
Thank you, Bob.
Let's do another one. Let's do another
Absolutely. This is always fun.
We got some good topics. So thanks again.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.